Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel, and I'm your host for L2 Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. Today, we are covering a new one. It is a web series soap opera, created, written, directed, produced, and everything else by the great Mr. Carlton T. Clay. It is called The Loved and the Heartless. And all I can say is, who's actually getting loved on this show? A lot of stuff is happening, and I'm going to tell you about it. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video in support of me. You can subscribe if you are new, and you can go on and leave your comments below. Now let's get into these episodes. Okay, so I first got to give you a little bit of the summary of what happened in the first season, because I'm starting with season 2 that's currently airing on Carlton T. Clay's YouTube page. That's where you can go. I have everything in my description, so go there so that you can stay connected. So the setup is Ashley is in this dating situation with Raheem. They're having a good time. Ashley's really enjoying it. She's dropping by with lunch and all that good stuff. He's doing things for her. They talk on the phone late at night, all that good stuff. Everything comes to a screeching halt when she finds out that Raheem is dating other people. Not just for the fact of dating other people, because she has been asking for Raheem to define the relationship. And he says, we're having fun. Women get to that place a lot sooner than guys as far as any definition. Or in other ways, they'll try to claim ownership even if they don't even define the relationship. All that good stuff. Well, bad stuff. But anyways, he doesn't really want to say that they go together exclusively. He's still riding the wave right now. Ashley's okay. Then she finds out that Raheem messes with a guy. She couldn't handle it. And then she just started ghosting him. At the same time, her ex-fiance, Kwame, comes back into town. And that brings up all of these old emotions. Kwame's back in town, but Kwame's not being all that truthful about what he's got going on. So she's feeling the feels for him again, and she wants closure. So she calls Kwame over to have closure, and she gives him a kiss, and he kisses back. And then her clothes fell off. Shout out to Living Single. Remember when Khadijah got together with her best friend? I forgot his name now. Oh my God. But anyway, Scooter, yeah. So the first time that they actually hooked up, and then she told everyone what happened because they've been friends forever. And then all of a sudden this came out of nowhere, and now they've crossed the line that they didn't want to go. But anyways, shout out to Living Single. But yeah, so all that happened. Kwame got another relationship going on. He's not even thinking about it. Now, let's fast forward to season 2 that's currently airing. What's happening? Demetria, which is Ashley's friend and also Carrie's cousin. Carrie is in a relationship with Kwame. Kwame's not telling anything to Ashley because all they did is slept together, of course. Carrie, at this point, who knew about the relationship with Kwame, is now finding out that Ashley has slept with Kwame. Plus, now Carrie is pregnant. We get flashbacks of when Carrie tells Demetria that she's with Kwame, he's moving back, all that good stuff, and Carrie is expecting loyalty. Because first, Demetria tried to pull the loyalty card or girl code with Ashley. She's like, that's not my friend, that's your friend. And I want you to keep it quiet. Demetria's like, why do I need to keep it quiet if it's just so, if you have no loyalty and all that? What's with all the secrecy? She's like, well, it's new and I want to protect it and I don't want anything to get muddled. Well, guess what? It's muddled. A little bit of Lake Lanier is up in that relationship you got going on. But yeah, so she expects this loyalty. And already Ashley has told Demetria about sleeping with Kwame. And basically, she tells Demetria that she told Kwame to come pick up your clothes. I'll have them folded. Or you fold me. And that's basically what happened. Yes, she let her body decide. And I have a feeling that Ashley is the type of person that prayed to God, saying, Lord, if you get me out of this soul tie, I'ma serve you. I'ma live for you. Get me out. And then she falls right back in. She ends up saying, hopefully I wrote this down. She says that she felt this reconnection as soon as they had sex. Duh. That connects you, ma'am, and you just feel like everything is okay now. You're in la la land, all because of smashing. And I'll say it like that. She thinks that maybe this is their second chance off of sleeping together. And I believe the last time Kwame cheated on you, and all it took was some sex, and now you're back ready to give him a second chance. Demetria, who's very conflicted already and just like, please take me out of the group chat, is saying, what if he's seeing somebody else? And Ashley's like, what do you know? Tell me about it. And she was like, well, look, he's been going, you've been going. He could have had some other people just like you have been with Raheem. And then she said, that's over and done with. So basically she's just saying, things have changed. And I think you need to find out what exactly is going on in each other's lives and all that before trying to make some decisions on a second chance. All right, so next, Demetria's sister calls her and says that she has to come by for dinner and she has a surprise for her. Demetria does not like surprises, so we shall see what this surprise is. At the same time, the sister calls the husband. The husband's parked out someplace and she says, like, are you going to be coming home really soon? And he says, not right now. He's showing a client a residential home. She said, well, I didn't know that was on the schedule. And he says, yeah, this was last minute. You know how that is. She said, yeah, I get it. Go make that money, honey. So then they get off the phone after all the pleasantries, and he texts somebody. And he says, I'm here. The person responds back, I'm in the restroom. He gets out of his car and he goes up to this park area. And he goes into the men's bathroom, and we hear all this eerie noise in the background. I'm like, oh, he's meeting someone in the male's bathroom. Like, so are we going there for prayer and supplication? What's happening there? We shall see. Next episode, Kwame and Demetria's cousin, whose name is Carrie, they're out to dinner. And it's dark as I don't know what. Kwame, you can't afford a candlelight? I mean, look, all you just said is turn out the lights. Where's the other part? The light a candle. Anyways, they're enjoying their time. Kwame gets a text from Ashley saying, I need to see you. Come through. His face brightens up and says, yeah. And right there on the spot, he makes up an excuse to Carrie on why he needs to leave. And of course, Carrie, oblivious to what's going on with Kwame, she says, okay. He says, when we get done with dinner, let me drop you off by your spot so that he can go handle his business. Meaning you can't come to my house because I got some other dealings to handle. And of course she says, okay. The waiter comes by and takes the order. But while he's taking the order, he's struck by this guy that's giving him the googly eyes. It's Raheem. Raheem is on a date with Jabari. Jabari is the dude that Ashley found out that Raheem was seeing last season. Because I forgot about this part. Season 1, Jabari was also asking, what are we? What are we doing here? Because when he found out also at the same time that Raheem was seeing someone else, he's like really annoyed by that. I will make note, in season 1, we saw in Jabari's home that he has a picture of Raheem and him together, like they're a couple. So I think in Jabari's mind that he's really in this relationship with Raheem, and Raheem is not in a relationship with Jabari. So anyways, Raheem's just looking all dead-faced, and Jabari catches him doing that, and he's like, well, what's up? Is there something that you see? You like what you see? He says, yeah. Jabari says, take a picture. It'll last longer. Maybe not what's in his mind. Will probably last longer than that, Jabari. Then Jabari says, I thought we had an understanding. Get it together. I wonder what that understanding really is. Because Y'all are on two different wavelengths and communication styles here, because I don't know about that. So then that same waiter comes and waits their table. And he says, is there anything that you need? Anything that I can get you? Of course. Raheem says, not at the moment. At the same time, Jabari is saying, yeah, I could. And then the waiter just ignores him and goes away. Raheem watches as the waiter walks away, smiling, grinning, cheesing, and all that. But that agitates Jabari again. And basically, he gets up from the table and gives Raheem a baptism. Throws water on him. Jabari walks out of the restaurant and he gets a new friend alert off of an app that he's on. And the alert is from Mandingo King saying, hey. So, okay. Let's see what's up. All right, so Demetria finds out that she was set up on a blind date with Gavin. Nia is really rubbing it in because Nia is Demetria's sister, who we met already with the husband who went into the bathroom, in the men's bathroom, to meet somebody, to have prayer. But anyway, Nia is really rubbing it in that her sister is very single, and she's perpetually, always single. Demetria begins to correct Nia in front of the date. His name is Gavin, and says that I'm not always single. Write that down. So we get into the genealogy of Demetria and Nia. They're not blood sisters. Their parents married each other. They don't call each other stepsisters. They're just sisters. And that's all it'll always be. So the sisterhood that they do have is that they look out for each other. Nia can be a little bit more overbearing and a little bit pushy in some areas with Demetria. Gavin, he comes from a military family, but at the same time, we find Nia's husband, whom we now know is Cabral, who was in the bathroom, gets a message off the same app that Jabari has. The message reads, what's good? You tell me. You trying to link? So, all at the same time, you got Demetria mean mugging him because she knows something's up, whether she knows all the truth or not. Gavin asks a question about what is it like as a husband and wife being in business together. Cabral's all caught up in his phone and isn't really answering the question. Nia's being in the chatterbox, and then she tries to sit into the husband like, don't you have something to add? And he says, oh, sorry, I got a crisis with one of our clients. There's been some bank fraud, and they need some help in getting this clarified so that they can get some commercial property. So he has to go. I mean, y'all be making up lies, and some really creative lies, I'll say that much. But nobody checks you on your ish. That's what's going on. There's little subtle stuff with Nia's like, well, I didn't see that on the schedule, but she's still oblivious and in marital bliss. So anyway, she says, keep me posted, and if I can help you out, let me know. So, at a different property, Cabral opens the door and someone has rang the doorbell. It's Jabari. So that whole hookup thing, so Cabral is Mandingo King. Jabari shows up and he's very nervous. And he's very chatty, talking about, I had this app before when I broke up with Raheem and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And Cabral said, shut up all that noise. So he dropped his jaws and says, are you coming? Cabral goes upstairs and said, enough talk. Let's do what we came to do. Jabari was behind, he shut up, and then he just starts scratching his head as he heads on up them stairs. So, there's a meeting in that bedroom. Ashley and Kwame, what's going on there? Oh, this is the next morning. They are in bed together. So it's morning. Shirley Murdoch. As we lay. She's like, she can't believe that this is really happening again, and she wants to know with Kwame, like, what are we doing? Kwame asks, what do you want this to be? That's for what we're doing. She says, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. But she said, one thing I want this time that we are to be honest, complete transparency. Okay. So then Kwame said, in complete transparency is, I love you. And of course, she just sucks that up. He says, I always have, and I always will. Next, Kwame gets a text. It's Carrie. She says, hey, babe, don't panic, ... But I'm in the emergency room. At this point, Kwame rushes away. Ashley's like, is there something going on? And he says, I don't know, but I will give you an update later. He rushes to the hospital. And Carrie's first thing when he actually when Kwame meets up with Carrie, like, these are the same clothes you had on yesterday. He said, oh, I slept at the office last night. Well, how long have you been in the hospital, Carrie? Like, anyways, he asked, is the baby okay? Carrie says that there's abdominal pain, and the baby is okay. The doctor just says that she needs to rest. So he excuses himself and takes a call. But of course, Dimitri is looking on like, I know he's up to no good. She follows him. He calls Ashley and just says everything's okay and can't wait to see her again. At this point, Dimitri says, I caught you. And I'm warning you right now to stop what you're doing or I will expose you. Well, he calls her on it and uses that, who will be more betrayed? Your cousin, who doesn't want you to spread her business like that, or your friend that you were reluctant to tell her what was going on? So basically, he thinks he calls the shots. And then he says, I think we're done here. I gotta go check on the mother of my baby. Okay. See, at that point, I would just run in there and just tell my cousin right then and there. But I think, this is what I think should happen. Dimitri, I would set it up for Ashley, Kwame, and Carrie to be in the same room together. And just let the explosives explode. All right, so Raheem and Ashley, they are both exercising. Ashley sees Raheem and ignores that to actually see anything. Raheem catches that she's ignoring him, and then he ends up catching up to her and saying, so you just gonna ignore me? And basically, like, how are you doing? Are you going, I haven't heard from you for a while. Are you going to make it clear where we stand? Ashley said, I thought I did when I caught you red-handed with your boy toy. And Raheem was like, what do you mean you caught me? You acting like I hid something from you. Don't try to rewrite history. So Ashley ended up admitting that she ghosted him. Raheem basically says that I believe that I deserve better. Oh, no. Ashley says, I ghosted you because I believe I deserve better than what you had to offer. What was he offering? So better is Kwame. Okay. And Raheem was like, no call, no text. Then she gonna say, I was protecting my peace. So then you run right back into the arms of your ex-fiance that cheated on you. And then Raheem was like, you lack emotional intelligence to have an adult conversation. You ran from your issues. And basically at this point, she don't really want to be honest about that, so she just says, forget you. Or did Raheem say forget you? I forget who. Someone said, forget you. Oh, and Raheem said, you're already forgotten. Lord. Well, I don't think that you're having an emotional, intelligent conversation with Jabari. Even though one could argue that he knew what was up, and to a certain extent he does. I just think that Jabari's quite naive to you when you're ahead of the game. You've been playing these type of love games, and really Jabari is just kind of green in this sort of situation. Anyways, Raheem ends up texting a homie. Keep that in mind. Keep that in thought. Hey, just checking in. Hit me back when you get this. That was the end of that episode. So, next we see Jabari. He's put on his clothes after his time with Cabral. And he sees Raheem's text for Jabari. And it says basically what Raheem was saying in the last episode. Hey, just checking in, hit me back when you get this. In Jabari's phone, Raheem is listed as Raheem. In Raheem's phone, Jabari is listed as homie. Now, Jabari, you probably never went through his phone, but you might need to know what he actually thinks of you. You are a homie. That's it. You're nothing more. That you have fun. That he has fun with. But basically, Jabari pays the message no mind. Jabari then tells Cabral that the last few days have definitely been fun and needed. Cabral ends up obliging. Jabari leans in for a kiss, and he said, now you know the rules. Jabari gets agitated and saying, look, now I use my mouth for everything else, but you mean a kiss? It is the end of the road, like you can't really handle that. And a lot of those situations, that's what is going on. So no, kissing is kind of like we're on a different type of level, like we're on an intimacy level. So no kissing, just y'all come smash and get up and go. So Jabari's a little bit upset about that, but he leaves. So then wifey, I'm gonna hope that's Nia. Sorry I missed you this morning. Can't wait to see you later. Love you. Cabral texts back, love you too. Hope you have a great day, my love. I really hope that is to Nia. However, that would be a good twist. But anyways, Jabari and Demetria, they end up going to this workout dance step class. It's Demetria's first time there and all that good stuff. So they get into this step aerobics. The aerobics instructor or dance instructor, whatever you call her, step instructor, is kind of militant-like. It takes no prisoners. So they're going through the routine and Demetria's not keeping up. One of the militant person reminded me of Debbie Allen when she guest starred on The Cosby Show. Claire was taking an aerobics class. Also, in regards to Demetria, it reminded me of when Aunt Viv went to the dance class before she got good again. But yeah, that was the end of that episode. Okay, I got 3 more episodes for you. Hang in with me. After the workout, Demetria's lying about coming back. She was like, "Oh, I'm coming back. I might come back." And by the end of that scene, she's like, "I'm not coming back." But anyways, Jabari ends up telling Demetria that his lease is up and he's looking for a house to actually buy. And she recommends her sister, Nia, and she'll help her out. So Jabari's about to meet the wife that he does not know about. So Nia and Jabari, they go through the house. This could be, and she creates the opportunity of him having this as his starter house. And while they're talking about this home, in walks Cabral. And now Jabari finds out that Cabral is Nia's husband. Dum dum dum. He's sleeping with someone who's already spoken for him. In the next episode, Jabari's stuttering a little bit and saying, "This is your husband?" And Nia was like, "Yeah. Why would you say it like that?" And he covers really quickly. I'll tell you, these folks, you can't really see them sweat around here on this show. It's rare to see a couple in business, and then she's like, "Yeah, da 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 da." Then she gets a call, and she has to step out. And now it's time for Jabari and Cabral to have it out. And Cabral was like, "You have any questions?" He said, "Why didn't you tell me that you were married?" "I mean about the house." "Answer the question," Jabari said. "It's simple. It's none of your business." And Jabari was like, "I have a right to know if I'm messing with a married man." Now, I'm going to say this. Jabari, you have a right to know. Did you ask? Like, there's some technicalities. I'm not saying that Cabral is right in how he's moving in his relationship, but did you ask? No, y'all been hooking up. So it's like, he has an edge over you at the moment. However, you should know. But if you don't ask, why does he have to tell you anything? Where am I at? Yeah, he thinks he has a right to know if he's messing with a married man. Cabral says, "No, you don't. We're just messing around. And I don't owe you any explanation outside of what's going on in that bedroom. And you wouldn't have known anything if this didn't happen. But obviously, it's supposed to happen for a reason, Cabral. Um, then he says, it's Cabral says it's a given that you won't tell my wife anything, and Jabari says no, she deserves to know the truth, and Cabral says she deserves to be happy, which I actually do for her. And then he pulls out the big guns and says to Jabari, I am a powerful man and I have powerful friends. And it's in your best interest to keep your mouth shut since I know how much you like to use it. I said, ooh, that's nasty. Like, oh, he done treated you like a you know what. Ooh. So he said, what are you going to do? Either take it or leave it. Nia comes back in and Jabari tells Nia, sorry, I won't be taking it as far as his house. Any of it. And then he storms out. And of course, Nia's all confused as to what happened. I thought he really wanted this house. Da-da-da-da-da. Of course, Cabral brings up a lame excuse because she's still in La La Land and not picking up any signals as of yet. The next episode and the last one, there's a message from Mandingo King. And he says, let's forget about earlier. Come over to the spot. I want to see you. And that's just so typical of people. You could be found out and the only thing on your mind is getting satisfied. It is the lust of the flesh. But anyways, Jabari didn't take the bait and he said block. However, I'm going to say this much. Jabari ended up stirring up and planting his own baits. He starts going through his phone and looking at some old pictures of him and Raheem together like they're booed up. And then he has this photo of Raheem shirtless. And you can see that there's a lot of lust coming up out of him like, I need him right now. So then Jabari plots. Now you would ask, why would I say he's plotting? Well, he texts him and said, oh, wait. Ooh, back up, sorry. After he blocked Cabral on the app, Tiana, his sister, whom we find out later, his sister-in-law, calls just checking up on him. And she can see that he's got a sad face. And she's like, what's up? He's not really saying anything. And she's like, do I need to come and kick somebody's ASS? And he says, no, I got it handled. Then his brother, Keith, whom is his older brother, gets on the phone and they give out their pleasantries. Jabari says, it's interesting that I talk to your wife more than I talk to you. And then he claps back by saying, y'all do have more to talk about because y'all both, and then Tiana shuts it down before that ignorant microaggression comes out of his mouth. And you can just imagine what he's talking about, him being a homosexual. So Tiana said, let me shut this up before you say something, let something stupid come out of your mouth. Well, anyways, Tiana says, don't hesitate to call if you need anything. And of course, he says, okay, and all that. Now back to what I was talking about with Jabari. Jabari's looking at all those pictures and looking at a shirtless photo of Raheem. And the hormones are on point. Next thing you know, he texts Raheem and says, yo, what's up? You were on my mind. Just checking in on you. How are you doing? And then Raheem says, good, and you? And Raheem says, I'm well. Now, he apologizes to Raheem and says, sorry how I left things. He didn't even say about the baptism. Anyways, Raheem took that little sorry and says, all good. And here's the kicker. But if you really want to apologize, you come through. Jabari smiles because mission accomplished. Jabari apologized because he wanted some from Raheem. So, is there some manipulation games going on between the two? Yes. Could Jabari seem a little bit less dirty? Or less, I don't know how you can say it, less manipulative? Like it doesn't carry much weight? I don't know how you can say it. You can say that, but yeah, when you want to get what you want out of Raheem, you know what to do. So anyways, Jabari arrives at Raheem's place. They hug very intimately, and Raheem leads him into his bedroom. And when he gets in there, he sees the waiter, who we now know his name is Alex, is in the bed naked. He's like, what is going on here? Jabari says. And basically, look, he's in my bed, and I'm just ready to have some fun, and I want you to join in with us. He's like, well, I thought it was just going to be the two of us. Well, you actually initiated contact with me. I was already on this before you came. So why don't you just come on and join in? So he's sitting there looking all not pitiful, but stank in the face, looking at the waiter. It's like, how is this gonna work? Like, he really just can't stand the waiter because this waiter is getting attention that he wants for himself or his man in his head. So do you think that Jabari is going to walk out of that house with his head held high, with his morals and dignity? Or is he gonna get in that bed and get what he needs? I guess we'll find out, because the next episode airs tomorrow, so y'all got to check it out. I will say go to I think it's the official Carlton T. Clay, whatever, it's in my description. Get in there, notifications are on. Set your notifications so you can be alerted, because the next episode will usually drop in early afternoon, so you can have your little afternoon soap opera watch. Very short episodes or whatever, but we got to find out what Jabari's decision. I think that he's just gonna get into the bed, but hey, we shall see. But I'm enjoying it thus far. I don't know who to root for, because there's just some decisions that are being made that make you go, what in the world is going on? But hey, you live and you learn, and I guess some people need to start learning. But we shall see about the love and the heartless. All right, I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Like this video, subscribe. You know the drill. Leave your comments, and until the next one, peace.